Now, if you were one of the 100,000 people that watched this video and found it helpful, which also 100,000 views, did not expect that, so thanks. But if you found that video helpful and still consider yourself to be learning Baldur's Gate 3, then welcome back to the channel. My name is Chad, and today I'm going to help you hopefully stop sleeping on the Cleric. I said sleeping on, not with. Get your mind out of the gutters. Now, I have several friends that play Baldur's Gate 3, and they are definitely not getting the most out of the Cleric class. And you might find yourself in that boat too. Do you keep Shadowheart around just because A, you think she's hot and you want to romance her? B, because she has guidance, which is one of the best cantrips in the game? Or C, because you view the Cleric as this designated healer for your party to keep your party from, not always being at full health? If you are one of those people that uses Shadowheart to cast Sacred Flame 90% of the time and occasionally heal up your team when they fall below full health, I'm here to tell you you are incredibly undervaluing Shadowheart and the entire class of the Cleric. Now, Shadowheart's initial build does not do her any favors because I personally am not a huge fan of the Trickery domain for the Cleric, which is what Shadowheart defaults as. Now, thanks to our boy Withers, though, we can respec Shadowheart basically for free and pick any Cleric subclass we want. There is no reason you need to commit yourself to the Trickery domain or even the Life domain. Shadowheart is capable of dishing out some massive damage and being a huge asset to your team. In fact, I recently completed the game on Honor Mode, and she was crucial to being in my party. So today I want to talk about some of the other domains that you might look into, talk about some feats, and just in general, some overall strategy. And if you guys have any other thoughts about the Cleric or anything you want to share, put it down in the comments. Again, I don't claim to be an expert at this game, so if you know anything or have any other ideas, please share so we can help out the community. If you don't have anything to say about the Cleric class, just comment your favorite emoji because your engagement is a massive help to the channel and I appreciate it. While you're at it, hit the like button and subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notifications of new videos like this. Now, 3 of my favorite domains for the Cleric are going to be the Light domain, the Tempest domain, and the Nature domain, with the Tempest domain being my personal favorite. It's not necessarily because it's the best, it's just the one that I enjoy playing with the most. So sorry if I'm talking about the most. I'm probably going to talk about it the most because I enjoy it the most, but we'll talk about the others as well. The Light domain is going to basically turn you into an evocation wizard. With the Light domain, you are going to gain several very powerful evocation spells like Fireball. Do I need to go on? No, but seriously, also Wall of Fire, Scorching Ray, and some others that you would naturally get as a Cleric, but still, those are phenomenal spells that you get for free, and you always have them prepared. Additionally, at 8th level, you get to add your Wisdom modifier to your cantrip damage. At 2nd level, you can use your Channel Divinity to deal radiant damage to creatures nearby, and you can also use your reaction to impose disadvantage on your enemies when they're attacking you or an ally. Combine all of these nice offensive spells with some of the things that the Cleric already have, like Spirit Guardians. And then additionally, all of the healing spells they would have as well. You can churn out some massive magical damage, AoE damage crowd control with Shadowheart or your Cleric. The next one I'll talk about is the Nature domain, and it is arguably less powerful than the Light or the Tempest domains, but honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and that's where it's going to basically turn your Cleric into semi-druid. You won't have the ability to wild shape, but you will get several spells that are in the Druid spell list. The spells I saw in this list that made this domain particularly appealing to me were Spike Growth and Plant Growth. Spike Growth is a 3rd level AoE spell that enables you to turn the terrain into spikes that slows your enemies and damages them as they walk through them. Sure, I acknowledge that they can jump out of it, but sometimes you can place it in like a choke point where they have to walk through it. I'm thinking if the goblins are attacking the grove, you can put it in front of the gate and they have to walk through it to get to the gate. I had so many goblins just end up killing themselves because they had to march through the thorns. And then Plant Growth is phenomenal because I think it quarters your movement speed. Again, you can jump out of it, but still, quartering movement growth basically puts your enemies at a crawl, and the big one is it does not require concentration. That is massive because a lot of terrain manipulating spells require concentration. This one does not. You can set down plants, forget about it, and then you can go about your day casting like Spirit Guardians, Guardian of Faith, anything else that requires concentration. You can also talk to animals for free, so that's cool. But the big one, and my personal favorite, is the Tempest domain. This is going to enable you to really harness the power of lightning and thunder to deal massive amounts of damage. And the big thing from this is going to come from Destructive Wrath, which you get at 2nd level. With Destructive Wrath, you can use your reaction and a Channel Divinity to guarantee the maximum possible damage on a lightning or thunder spell, assuming that your enemies don't save against it. Now that's really nice, and then combine that with all of the lightning and thunder spells that you are going to get, like Shatter and Call Lightning. And Call Lightning can do some really, really fun things. If you are unfamiliar, Call Lightning is a concentration spell. It's like Witch Bolt or Sunbeam. You can continually call it over and over while you are concentrating on the spell. What can be really fun is it is a 3rd level spell, but every spell slot you upcast it, you get to add 1d10 of lightning damage. So I have cast Call Lightning as a 6th level spell, and then you can just recast it over and over, and it deals quite a bit of damage. Not only that, it is an AoE spell, so you can deal damage to multiple people at once. Just be careful, you're not an evocation wizard. You don't have that evocation pocket. So if your allies are in the way, you can still hurt them. But then combine that, say you use a 6th level spell slot, Call Lightning, guarantee the maximum damage with your channel divinity, and you can do that multiple times. Obviously, you are limited on the number of channel divinities you have, but I digress. You are capable of doing wicked amounts of damage. So in conclusion, if you've been using Sacred Flame and like Cure Wounds, maybe rethink how you're using the Cleric, right? Next up, I want to talk about some spells that the Cleric has in general, regardless of which domain you pick. Talk about some advice on how to use them, some I don't particularly like, and some that are definitely must-haves. The first 2 are going to be level 1 spells. Guiding Bolt. You are sleeping on Guiding Bolt. Not only does Guiding Bolt deal radiant damage, it also guarantees the next attack on your opponent is going to have advantage. Now, one thing that can be really annoying for Guiding Bolt and other spells that we're going to talk about soon is you gain advantage on your next attack roll, but what if like your enemy tries to run away from someone and you trigger an opportunity attack and they attack and maybe they miss or they deal damage, but not that much damage. And now you've kind of wasted that advantage you had when you really needed Asterion to land maybe a sneak attack on the boss. This is just kind of a pro tip in the game. It can lead to a lot more pop-ups that you have to go through. You can either turn off opportunity attacks, which I would not recommend doing, but you can trigger them to actually prompt you. So if you don't want to do an opportunity attack because you want to save that advantage for, an attack roll that you have control over, you have that option. You can do that within the game. It's also extremely helpful with the other 1st level spell I want to talk about, which is Sanctuary. Sanctuary is going to prevent your enemies from targeting whoever you have cast Sanctuary on. They can still be damaged by area of effect spells or things, that deal damage in an area of effect, but it can be incredibly useful. Say you have an ally that is low on hit points that you don't want to have die, or you have an NPC that you are trying to protect that you don't want to die. Or say you have just cast a concentration spell that you really, really, really don't want to take damage and have your concentration broken. You can cast Sanctuary on yourself that does not require concentration, and then you can ensure that you're not going to be attacked. You can still receive damage. You can still have your concentration be broken, but it is definitely harder. These are 2 spells that regardless of what level I am, I always have prepared. Another great spell, which is 2nd level, is going to be Silence. It cannot be overstated how nice it is to be able to just shut down mages by silencing them. You could say pair silence with some plant growth, put down some plant growth, and then put silence over it, so it's very hard for them to get out of the cone, the dome of silence. It's also crucial on honor mode if you're not trying to, owlbear cheese Grim at the Adamantine Forge, because he's going to deal that extra thunder damage every time you hit him, so you can just throw down a dome of silence, and then your characters are going to be protected from that thunder damage that is constantly damaging you. It's also a ritual spell, so if you cast it, say, outside of combat, you get to do it for free. Now, a spell that I don't particularly like that I still use it sometimes, that's going to be Spiritual Weapon. It's a 2nd level spell that lets you summon a spiritual weapon that can aid you in combat and fight other people. Here are the problems that I have with the spell, one of which is anecdotal, the other is not. It doesn't matter what enemies I'm fighting. It doesn't matter what my chance to hit is. That spiritual weapon always misses for me. I can have an 80% chance to hit, and it still freaking misses. Anecdotal, you may have a lot better luck than I do, but 1, I just never get any damage out of it. But 2, here's the big one. Its movement speed is so limited. So if you cast it in battle, unless you cast it right next to a large group of enemies that you know are not going to be moving anywhere, it's not going to do a whole lot for you, because it's going to take, by the time you get it over to the next enemy, that enemy is probably either dead or has killed you. On the other hand, it does summon something else that can do damage, and it is a bonus action, so I will leave the decision up to you. Next one up is probably my personal favorite Cleric spell, and that's going to be Spirit Guardians. It puts a protective barrier of Spirit Guardians around you that turns that area around you into difficult terrain, slowing down enemy movement, and it just deals passive damage to anyone that gets too close to you. It's particularly nice to be able to just throw it up and just walk around and deal damage to people. You don't have to attack people. You don't have to do anything. You just have to walk by them and you hurt them. This is very nice, especially if you have a lot of enemies in close quarters. It's probably like the first spell you will get for your Cleric where you're like, damn, now they are really doing some damage for me. I'm a massive fan of Spirit Guardians. It is always prepared. Next one is, I'm not sure if this is something that people are sleeping on, but Banishment. Banishment is actually kind of nice to have. Basically, you get the ability to banish an enemy into a different plane of existence for 2 turns. You make them go away for a little while. This is kind of one of those oh shit spells that I like to keep in my back pocket, particularly when I was in Act 2 and I was in the Gauntlet of Shar. I had a situation where in fact, my entire party was dead except for Shadowheart. And she was trying to get everyone back up, potions, we've got the mass cure wounds, we've got all of this stuff, but we're struggling to stay alive right now. And we've got maybe 2 enemies, I can't remember, maybe we had a boss and an enemy. And the ability to just banish one of them. Go away. Please leave me alone while I heal up my party. I was able to heal everyone up, not everyone, but get enough people back. And then by the time they came back, I actually had a party that had actions, bonus actions, and was ready to attack, and I won the battle. Banishment was clutch. It's a 4th level spell that I didn't use a ton, but I was really happy that I had it in a really clutch moment. So don't sleep on Banishment. One that I am undecided on how I feel about is Guardian of Faith. Now, let's talk about the cool aspect because it looks dope. Like, it looks so cool, but the radius of damage around it seems so limited. And I just find myself, whenever I set it up, it never really ever hits anyone. Like, everyone gets out of the radius and then deals damage or something like that. Like, it just never really does it for me. So I don't know, I'm interested. If you guys have phenomenal use cases where it's absolutely crucial for you, let me know. I mean, it looks cool. I've gotten use out of it in some fights, but in general, I just don't find it really being worth that 4th level spell slot. I would rather just upcast Call Lightning to a 4th level spell slot. After that, I think it becomes pretty clear which of the spells are really good. Like, you've got Flame Strike, fun. Flame Strike, just dope, right? You get Insect Plague, that's kind of fun. Difficult Terrain, Plague of Locusts, that's super fun. Planar Ally always comes in clutch. But really, I find most of the spells that we're sleeping on are probably some of those earlier ones, so make sure that you're using them well. Now, I meant for this video to be more of a passion video about a cleric and not necessarily a build guide, but why not? Let's go down a little bit of the build guide rabbit hole and just talk about some of the feats that are nice for a cleric as well. Now, a lot of your best spells for the cleric are going to be concentration spells, whether that's Spirit Guardians, Call Lightning. If you're using Sunbeam from, the Blood of Lathander, you're going to be doing a lot of concentration. So it makes sense to get Warcaster as one of your feats. Warcaster is going to give you advantage on concentration saving throws, which is pretty nice. Additionally, it gives you the option to use a reaction to cast Shocking Grasp on an enemy that is moving outside of melee range. So basically, it lets you replace your attack of opportunity with your melee weapon with a spell. This pairs very nicely with the Tempest Domain because then you can use your Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage. Now, you may be thinking, that makes no sense. It's a cantrip. Why would you want to deal maximum damage with it? And I have had a couple of instances where, like, maybe an enemy is going after one of my weakest people and he's passing me and I have the attack of opportunity. He's not at very high health. I want to make sure that guy dies. So there are instances where even just having that Channel Divinity for Tempest on Shocking Grasp is very nice to deal that maximum damage. So next up, it's hard to go wrong with Building Improvement. Increase your Wisdom and then, increase your spell save DC. Shieldmaster can be nice because it's going to give you a +2 to dexterity saving throws, and if you have force to make a dexterity saving throw, if you pass that check, then you can take no damage from the spell at all, even if you would take it on a save, and if you fail, then you only take half damage. And one that, I don't know, can just be kind of fun, maybe situational, probably don't do it, but it could be fun, the mobile feat. I mean, if you want to just cheese and run around doing Spirit Guardians, especially early on, like this may be something as you progress in the game, you respec and get rid of it. But there are definitely times where a good chunk of the damage that you do is running around people using Spirit Guardians. Having that extra 3 meters of movement to just run around people, kind of fun. So mobile, there's a use for it. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. Again, this was not intended to be a build guide. It was more just meant to be a passion video about the cleric because I really enjoy playing as a cleric. I really enjoy having one in my party. And I feel like a lot of people that I've talked to are struggling with the cleric or not using them to their full potential. So don't be that guy. If you have any other thoughts or you have any other things that you love about the cleric that I didn't mention, please let me know and let everyone else know down in the comments. Let's help each other out. If you don't have any thoughts about the cleric, you don't have anything to say, just comment your favorite emoji because once again, your engagement is a massive help to me and it is a massive help to the channel. It helps other people find this video. While you're at it, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you get notifications of videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and we will see you in a later video. Thank you so much.